Hey guys, Tarke here. We're level 89 on the Caustic / Rain Trickster. Still haven't gotten the correct gear to swap over to Toxic Rain, so we're still Caustic arrowing it up. And we're just going to do a little Conqueror fight. We've just been progressing my Atlas, slowly getting into reds, unlocking watchstones, pretty basic stuff. Still really enjoying the League mechanic. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's very rippy, it's challenging. I like that about the build. I like that about the League. My only real complaints about the League are it really irritates if the mirror doesn't always spawn near the start. That is a confirmed bug they're working on. And I do wish we had a keybind to instantly end the encounter. There's lots of random one-shot bullshit that's been happening with people. I find that if you play a 360 build like this and you never stop moving, it's fine. The problem is there are those random G-gens that you can't see, which completely lock your character up, and then you end up stopping moving, and then you die. I don't really understand why we have those random D-gen clouds. They seem kind of weird to me. GGG is going to be posting a dev manifesto in the next couple of hours, and depending on when you're watching this video, that manifesto might already be out. So we'll see what changes they'll be changing about the League, or maybe they'll say, fuck you guys, we're not changing anything, League's perfect. I'd expect some slight nerfs. I'm hoping they don't nerf it too much. Those will one-shot you. Those are kind of monker. I think I'm going to get to 6 levels of reward, then end this encounter. Because with Baron mobs, this is a bit spooky. Just going like that. So yeah, sometimes you got to circle back and put yourself into a bad position, which isn't very fun. So I do wish there was a key binding for that. But yeah, as you can see, the way I play it is I just kind of go through the map, don't really stop, kill everything, and then when I'm like, you know what, characters kind of, this could get a death situation, then I just end the encounter. So yeah. Also, one thing in terms of rewards, which I think is worth mentioning, because there's kind of been this ongoing debate about whether or not the League's rewarding. I think what a lot of people don't take into account is that even though the end explosion of loot may not seem very good, it's kind of like adding a bunch of sextants to every map. So in terms of just monsters added, it's very rewarding in terms of just drops and all of that other stuff. So if you think about the League mechanic as in every single map you run has 2-3 sextants on it, and then every now and again you'll get 5 exalts or 10 essences or whatever dropping. It's alright. But one thing I do if I'm on a rookie map and I get for example the weapon delirium, I'll often just skip it because it's not worth the risk. That being said, I find with the weapon delirium once you're in maps, same with the just the random rare delirium, you do get a lot of veiled mods and incursion mods, which is kind of cool. I need to drop the arrow for single target. My single target isn't that great currently. I'm not only on a +2 bow still. I haven't got 20 gems or anything, but it's okay-ish. Please, no random one-tap Mr. Conqueror. I don't like this guy. He does no damage, and then he randomly looks at you, and then you die. I'm not a fan of it.
You are no servant of innocence.
Yeah, it's an okay-ish starter. Alright, shove that on. Go for my watchstones. So, let's talk a little bit about the build, where the character's at, some cool changes, and also some updates on the CI gear I have been collecting. So again, 89, we've got 6.5k life, 2.1k energy shield. Combined, that is 8.7, quick maths. So we've got 8.7k effective HP, which is pretty solid. We are on a 6th link. My tree looks something sort of like this. At this point, I've just been doing small, I've picked up all my 2-point jewels, putting a point here, putting a point there. I swapped that around to this. I will probably go back to just having this point here, but I didn't have anything. I didn't have any like good 2 points to spend. I'll eventually go for the skill effect duration cluster. I'll definitely go for this when I go toxic rain. Part of me is kind of tempted to just stick with this and just stockpile regrets for my CI swap. So I might even just start rooting really heavily into energy shield nodes, so my CI respec is less expensive. In terms of how my gear is coming along for the CI stuff, we got some pretty decent items. I got a Hiri's Ire drop for me today. I could use a Hiri's Ire instead of a Restless Sword. I do lose some energy shield. I lose like 300 energy shield and 200 life, but I then gain 10% dodge and spell dodge. Probably worth. If this was divined to be a better roll, then the gap would be a lot shorter. So it's something to consider. Also gives you like 50 dex, which is good if you're short on dex. Could also be an option I use for the CI build, because for the CI build, yes, it has less energy shield on there, but then the penalty of losing the life doesn't matter because you don't need life on a CI build. I got this hat, which is like a decent starter hat, in the sense that it's 230 energy shield, and then I can do triple res on it. We've got the Soul Strike. I got this ring, which is a really nice ring. It's got an open prefix, so I could craft like faster energy shield recharge on there, which is pretty good. That is just like a mana ring, mana regen. I did also unlock the minus mana cost, so I'd probably actually go for the crafted minus mana cost on that ring, actually, now I think about it. That's just like a big resist Ami I could craft ES on. This is a decent-ish Ami that I could craft flat ES on, and it has the percent. I got this chain belt. Would be a lot better if it was a Stygian visor, obviously a crystal belt, but it's got a bunch of energy shields, all but resists. Not very good boots at all, but it has resist, not triple res. And then okay-ish gloves, not that great. So you can see that my CI gear is kind of coming on pretty slowly. I did alt regal this into 100 flat energy shields. You can see at the top there, energy from naught, with mana regen and flat maximum energy shield on each point. So that's pretty good. And then did I get anything new for this character? Oh, I did use an essence. Essence of Misery, I want to say. Yes, Essence of Misery gives projectiles pierce an additional target on quiver. The big boy, the Deafening, gives +2. Sadly, it actually kind of, everything on here is trash aside from the tier 2 life. But I didn't need the resist, so it's a triple pierce quiver with 87 life, which is pretty solid. And then everywhere else is just like strength, life, resists, a whole bunch of resist life, a whole bunch of strength, life, resists. This is new, 160 energy shield, 100 flat life, double res. That you saw already. These same as yesterday. That's the same as yesterday. That's the same as yesterday. I did get my Uber Lab, and I got the attack and cast speed enchant on there. And for my Uber Lab, I did go for Prolonged Pain. Now, one thing that has also got me slightly like, ooh, maybe I should try this. Part of me is tempted to just like keep power farming through maps on this character and maybe not even worry about respecking CI at all. Because I've been thinking like, okay, what's like the best thing I could do with cluster jewels? So I showed you on my CI tree in the last video that I could shove a, that's the wrong one. I could shove a whole bunch of cluster jewels up here and do all this fancy stuff. And the idea that Rory Neon said on Bakecast, the idea behind cluster jewels was to enable these like wacky builds where you'd get like all of your damage on the jewels. So you could do like, for example, a Chaos DoT build, which only stayed in this part of the skill tree. And I was like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. And I've got all of these jewels I've been stockpiling. Well, what would be like the coolest kind of build I could do? And I planned a couple of different trees around that idea. And I came up with this, which I think is kind of cool. So this is a level 70 tree. So it's a champion, and you do champion Toxic Rain. And it's got blood magic, so you wouldn't have any issues with the mana requirements because you use blood magic to solve it. And a lot of people complain about the mana requirements for Toxic Rain. 205% life, a whole bunch of increased armor scaling. It's got the Fortify cluster. It's got one skill effect duration cluster. You can put a very large Thread of Hope here, and that gets you Iron Reflexes. It gets you Heavy Draw, the AoE one, Deadly Draw, and then you can also take hematophagy? Hemathingamagigi that I'll be having in the hospital tomorrow. Which gives a 30% increased damage while leeching and gives you some physical damage leached as life. Because of Toxic Rain, you're always attacking. You'll always be leeching because of that. So it's actually just like a 30% increased damage node, which is pretty decent. So you could just like spec into it for 30% damage at one point. It's pretty good. Yoinked this idea off my good friend Sev, so thank you very much, Sev. But yeah, so what you could do is get a bunch of cluster jewels, as I, showed up here, and you could shove a large cluster jewel there, like this. You need an eye level 75 one to get 2 medium jewel sockets in it. Annoying, I don't have any 75 chaos ones yet. I'm just trying to get one. And then you can get a whole bunch of chaos damage. You can get loads of skill effect duration. You can get some explosions. You can get hinder, all this other stuff. And then the medium jewels is where you get all the chaos damage every time multi. So if you had a large with 2 mediums and you picked up the full cluster, like how I did on the CI version, I keep going to the wrong tree, sorry. You could actually get more chaos multi through 2 like well-rolled medium jewels than you'd previously get on the entire tree. So previously most like chaos builds would get like Method to the Madness, Growth and Decay, Atrophy, and then maybe they'd anoint Corruption. So that would only be 3, 6, plus 8, 14, 17, 20, 23, 33. So they would get 33, right? Well, here you can get 6 nodes on a medium with 5% on each. So that would be 5, 15, sorry, 5, 10, 15, 20 if you had a 6-rolled one. And then you're also getting Chaos Multi on the big nodes. And then you have 2 of them. So this would be like, if this was rolled properly, this would be like 28. Potentially 38 if you had the other 10% Chaos Multi one here. Doubled, be 76 Chaos Multi, which is insane. So you would get like double what you had here. So it means you could suddenly start playing these really defensive trees where you don't really move from your tree at all, and you just get like all of your core defense in one area, then get all your damage. I just thought this was kind of a cool idea. So not only would you benefit from the blood magic, which would solve all your mana requirements, you would have stun immunity, you'd have fortify, and then you've got a couple of options. You could go for Conqueror for another 6% damage reduction, into Worthy Foe for 20% increased damage, which is solid, just 20% more damage, basically. Obviously, there's diminishing returns, but pretty much. Alternatively, you could go for Conqueror for the damage reduction into Inspirational. You can use Blood Magic with an Aura and then a Banner. Then you would gain some movement speed, which is nice for a bow build. You'd gain a bunch of mana regeneration. You could use War Banner for the damage buff, or you could use Dread Banner for the evasion. Alternatively, you could go for First Strike Last to Fall for adrenaline, and also when you like reach low life, you then like heal up, which is pretty cool. There's lots of different things you could go for, so it's actually like pretty flexible. And I planned out 2 trees. There was this tree here, and then there was this tree, which is more points, annoyingly. But you go into Ranger. The reason you go into Ranger is it's got much cleaner stat requirements. So you can see this one only has 83 dex, 24 int, which is kind of rough. Obviously, you can patch up a lot of this on gear. Whereas this one has 153 dex and 44 int. So this is a level 78 tree. For some reason, the Thread of Hope keeps unallocating, so it's actually a level 83 tree, sorry. But you could take the full Crystal Skin Cluster, meaning that you could craft Avoid Ailments on Helmet and Gloves and be completely ailment immune. If you wanted to drop points, you could also just drop these points, and that's level 78 tree. You get a bunch more Evasion Scaling, which is good for the Iron Reflexes. You get a little bit of Attack Speed, which is good for Toxic Rain. You get some Flask Charge stuff. You also get a little bit of Int, which you need Int for this build. A little bit of Regen. You also then get to pick up Avatar of the Hunt, which is just a really nice cluster because it gives a bunch of evasion scaling, which is good for Iron Reflexes. Damage over time, some movement speed, some flat evasion, some movement speed, and some cooldown recovery for movement skills, which is all pretty cool. And I think it also has 1 extra jewel, because that was 3 jewels, and that tree was only 2 jewels. But you could also spend more points, and you could come up this way to Barbarism and get the 3-point jewel that way. So, yeah, I don't know. This is something that I might look into. It's something I'm actually really considering. You could also do this as a jug, and if you did this as a jug, then you would, like, cut these points at Duelist Start. And if you did this as a Juggernaut, I would probably go for Unstoppable, Unflinching, Unrelenting, and then you could go for Unbreakable or Unyielding. You could go for Unyielding if you wanted the area and a little bit of damage, but Unbreakable makes you tankier, so I'd probably do something like that. And then I would, the points we cut from Duelist Start, I would then spend... Oh, that's cool. You can still get that life node there with the Thread of Hope. Thread of Hope is such a cool gem. I really like it. It's a real shame it just misses that reduced reservation. Not that you'd need it for this build, but you could do some interesting setups with it. And then you could always grab that Endurance Charge for 3 points if you really wanted to. But anyway. Basically, I'm having a lot of fun playing my Caustic 1-day Toxic Rain character. And I'm kind of considering maybe leveling up a second character, maybe a champion. And either keeping this as hybrid and pumping all my money into the champion version, or pumping all my money into this version. I just need to decide, would I rather play a CI character or a life character? I don't know yet, and until I do decide, I'm just going to keep mapping, keep unlocking my Atlas. But anyway, I'm Tarke. Let me know if you have any high IQ suggestions for me. Have a good day. Bye-bye.